Grand Arena season 28-ish. And it's 3 versus 3. And I'm trying this in English now. So we see how that goes. Not sure. Yeah, my first opponent is EmoKid Skills from Incore Elite, I think. Great guy. We had a bit of a chat after the match. And so greetings to you and good luck going forward. It was an interesting match. For me, 3 versus 3 is usually something I like. But because we had this long pause of several months or several seasons, it felt a bit weird going back, especially after so many new characters have been introduced to the game. And also after I had to find my ways in Freeze again, because Freeze used to be actually the mode I preferred over 5 versus 5. And also had my best season in the old GAC format was in Freeze. I think I managed to get place 18 back then. And in that season, I, on the ground, only had one fight, which I had to do twice, which was in the first round. So I only dropped one battle, so to say, in the whole season, which was enough back then to not make top 10, because I lost one match, essentially. But ever since that, I really liked Freeze because it was something that I kind of felt drawn towards, because it's very creative, it's very, how to say it, and not to fall into German terms, extraordinary in a certain way. And at the same time, you have so many more options compared to 5s, because you can also play teams that have no lead, for example, which might not be necessarily what you want to do in 5s. But anyway, so this season for me is a bit like of a let's see how it goes. I think I was in the top 100 start of this battle or start of this season. Somewhere around 60-ish, I don't remember exactly, sorry. So all the matches will be against great opponents and it could go either way at any time, which is also true for this match. Because, as I said, have to find my way, have to deal with new teams, with new mechanics in a certain way. But I guess we're all in the same boat, so I hope it will be fun. Also, sorry for this lengthy intro, just wanted to give you like a bit of a setup for the fight, because it was also a weird match for me. I had a weird moment in the game, or in this match, where I kind of flipped the script in terms of from trying to play very efficient to who cares. So I didn't really play my best game, so to say, my best match. But anyway, let's start. We're looking at the defenses first. So my opponent already attacked me when I got the chance to attack, which is usually after work for me, so it's quite late. And in the north we have nothing new, so to say. Teams I knew from past seasons. And in the south, of course, there were some more interesting teams. For example, the Stash team, but also this Gideon team, because Gideon now is fixed for Freeze. So his lead is in full swing, which is interesting because I didn't play before. I think I remember playing like back in the days when it was just like the broken lead. So quite different. But still, and other than that, another interesting team might be Newt, GL Newt, as we call it in Freeze, because he can be so annoying, like a Galactic Legend, if you don't have the right team or the right tunes to deal with him. But essentially not the strongest team, I would say. I prefer like having B1 in there over Silver. But anyway, this wall was kind of designed to draw out CLS or counters to gas, because I was seeing two teams you would want to use CLS on. So I guessed CLS Hantui, that is. So I guessed in the back wall there would be a gas hidden, especially also because there was this Rex team and the top wall. But enough stalling. I think we could start with the fights. And the first fight I took was against this Fin Po team, which is kind of a staple, or used to be a staple in the past. And I started with this like, mom, can we use Maul? And mom says we have Maul at home. And then this is Maul at home, so it's a Bo-Katan team with Canderous and the Armorer, which is quite a handy team for a lot of counters. If Armorer is faster, of course, then you basically just can, in this case, steamroll Hero Finn, then you try to get Hero Po out next, but of course the taunt gets in the way, which is not a big deal. We have Canderous for that. And he also gets 3 stacks easily, like from Armor then, which is great, because usually you also want him to taunt so that he counterattacks, which I forgot in that moment when I played the match. Now I remembered giving the taunt so that Po would attack him, but there was not enough time for Po to do that. So started off with a good fight, 76 banners, and went to the next one, which is Fridian. I think it's the name of this team, or the name I think Seraph gave this team. It was invented, quote unquote, by a friend of Seraph, but Seraph made it popular a few seasons back. And the idea of this team essentially is control. And it's great versus a lot of teams, but especially versus the CLS, 2PO, C3PO team. I haven't played it in a while, so it was really sloppy on my end. But the idea is essentially that you fracture CLS, that you land days after a while with our friend Gideon, that you remove turn meter as often as you can with Gideon, and that you essentially just control the other team, while you also have the opportunity to land Armor Shred, which of course helps with damage, because the damage on your team in this case is not very high. Thrawn lead, because it helps you really to stall out Fracture quite a bit, because you have this lead ability from Thrawn, which is a special of course, and each special reduces turn meter from Thrawn, so you can really lock down the team if you please. But as you can see, it is a bit dicey in this matchup. I didn't really play it quite well. Just tried to fracture CLS, then take him out, and then of course Chewie is also a bit of a nuisance. But then again, you can fracture him as well. You can stun once you have ability blocks, and Thrawn can use his basic. But of course you don't want that in the case when you fracture is landed, you just want them to remove turn meter. Ideally, you can play that way to get full banners, but that didn't happen in this case. I only could get back some protection on Thrawn, but couldn't recover his health. But still, yeah, was simple enough, or let's say, not simple, lucky enough to get through without losing, because I think after such a while, I also could have messed it up. But it was okay. The next battle I took was against this Gideon team, and because I wasn't sure what to play, I had different options in mind. Troopers on my end, because I would have been faster, or other options as well. But then I opted for this Starkiller team, and I'm using it Vader Lead because I think even though you don't have the turn meter gain or like the debuff flowing around like you have with a EP Mara team, you have a good way to charge the ultimate by Merciless Massacre and the basics, and also the call to assist from Mace. And that's why I took in those 3, got my ultimate, which then only kept Stormtrooper alive, because before that I already killed the team, or the other team several times, and so in the end it was quite an easy battle. Against this new team, I took in the counter I played most of the times in the past, again any variant of this team, which was JKR, Jolie, and GMY. Problem with this counter is it's a little bit expensive. You can use these Jedi in other ways as well. Quite a flexible team, especially in offense. Yeah, but for all the other teams I saw on the North Wall, I didn't want to use them for that. And I expected some GLs or gas in the back wall, and I didn't really plan to use them there either. So, yeah. So I used them here. There are, of course, other counters like Bounty Hunters can do a great job on this team, or even Fridian, but I already used it, so no use using it here. And essentially what you're trying to do is to survive, especially the attacks from Django. So Foresight from GY is your friend, but also Protection Up can be your friend, at least in certain circumstances. And other than that, you just, of course, want to get nuked out as fast as possible, because his Distortion really messes you up. Is it Distortion? I always forget the English names of these debuffs, but also the German names, or the abilities, but I guess it's Distortion. Anyway, back to the fight. Yeah, then you of course want to let Django take his turns. Ideally you want a Foresight, especially when he does his rocket. And after he's done that, you take him out. Or of course spend some time on the tank in this case. But as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. The only issue really can be if you don't have Foresight and Django manages to nuke out GMY or even JKR with his rocket, then they really can become a problem at some point. But you always have a safety belt, which is Foresight in that case. So spread Foresight, folks. It helps. Next battle versus the Stash team is quite funny, to be honest. It's just Omicron, Qui-Gon Jinn, and of course they focused on the ads and not Qui-Gon, and so I take them out before I can regain my health and protection. So it wasn't good banners, but still okay. This is the back wall. As expected, there was a gas, and there were several other interesting teams, such as JMK and EP Mara as well, and of course a lighter version of Darth Revan. So I decided to go to the North Wall, and here this fight was super funny. I think back then I was the first to mention this counter on the Gambit server when Bad Batch was quite new. And I said, hey, these work against this Rex team, which used to be like quite strong on back then in defense, and it still is. And I never had a fail with this counter. Like the worst thing that happened to me was that I lost Wrecker, because our friend Rex was able to get off a Rexecute. And mainly that happened when I played it wrong, when I used the second special from Echo before Rex made his form up. But somehow, because I haven't played it in a while, I played it poorly. And spoiler, so here I took out the sacrifice. Rex is still alive, does his Rexecute, Wrecker is gone, but at this point I'm still, okay, it's okay. It takes a while until he has Rexecute again. Barrios is out of the picture, and I can just now finish him off. So call to assist, but somehow I think there was a dodge. He basically escapes, and instead of doing the basics again, I'm trying to heal up, which was a huge mistake, misplayed, and Rexecute is there again. And again. And suddenly I lost the fight, which was super interesting. It was funny. Anyway, so first time I'm losing that match, but yeah, then I have SWGOH to clean it up. So I had to laugh in the moment because it was like, what am I doing here? I'm playing so bad. But anyway. So I went back to the back wall, played a mirror match, GMK versus GMK. Unfortunately, my cat was slower, so otherwise, in theory, I could have used R2 here as well. But I don't have R2 in the offense in this round, so I had to use the tank for tank. So we're trading our tanks, and then it's just 2 versus 2. And here I think usually it's an easy match still, because the AI doesn't always play it well, to say it in a nice way. And essentially just trying to get out cat first, which is, yeah, I'm not sure what to say here. It's a straightforward fight. I guess you could always also auto that, I guess. I'm not sure. I never tried it in threes. In fives, I guess in arena you can do that anyway. So I have the high ground. The other team, other Kenobi also has the high ground, and I'm just trying to reduce cooldowns for the swipe or B, just buff the stats, or like increase the stats, the mastery of Ahsoka or JMK. Then Cat is gone, and it's just like 2-on-1. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Then with this, JMK is out of the picture, and not the best banners, but at least a one-shot. And then I tried Wampa Omicron versus Gas. I was interested in this because there is no execute, so it should be okay in that regard. But then again, I was interested to see if my Wampa, it's Renegade with tenacity stacked, stack of tenacity and health a bit, but not with health sets, just tenacity sets. So primaries on the arrow and the circle, of course, and the triangle. But I wanted to see if that is enough. It was at least enough to get out these sides. But here you can see it's getting really dicey, and of course then Gas take him out. And I'm not sure what could have helped here. Maybe if my Wampa would have been faster, that would have been enough. Yeah, but it wasn't the case. So versus the Starkiller team, I played Lord Vader with Maul and crew. I didn't plan to use this team initially. It wasn't on my teams to use list. It was more coincidence. It was like, oh, what do I use now? Maybe let's try Lord Vader, and maybe just try Maul, and maybe then crew. I often prefer crew as a tank in this team over RG. I know it's RG is designed for it, but I don't know. I just like the flexibility that crew offers. The 2-turn stun, which of course doesn't do anything, but it also dispels. And that crew just can be a nuisance. That's why I prefer him. But in this case, I think Maul was just the kicker for that team, or for this counter to go down. I'm pretty sure Lord Vader by himself would have lost, even in that setup, in which you have no help for the ultimate from Starkiller, so no Sith to assist. But yeah, so I took him out, 56 banners. 65. I always have to like English and German numbers are a little bit different in how they are constructed, so it's a bit weird for me sometimes, and I have to think twice what I'm saying. Then Darth Revan. I thought about using troopers here, but I was not sure because I had other uses for them as well, and because there was nothing else I wanted to use C on. I used C here. Essentially a solo match, so to say. And what you do is you link Darth Revan and of course the tank in this scenario, because you're forced to link the tank. Would have been nice to link HK and Darth Revan, because then you can how to say it in English, reduce the damage input or intake from them, the damage output and the damage intake, because they can't crit you. But yeah, now the tank is gone, so I can both of them, so there is not a chance for them to kind of get me out of the picture. And I don't use the ultimate because in theory you can get full banners then, but could also have used the ultimate. But yeah, so I got 58. Was nice, was okay. With this EP Mara and Short Trooper, I used Rey and Barris, which potentially was a mistake, not 100% sure, because by using two characters I offered another option to land debuffs, hence allowing the team to take more turns, as you can see. So maybe it wasn't the smartest move, but it was not in any case dangerous for me not to lose the match. But it was a little bit like unfortunate, because by that more turns mean they strip down protection, and so you lose banners. But in the end, it was still 55. Then I went back to the north wall. So I waited to clear gas in the back wall. I wanted to wait after ships to see how many banners I need. or if I need to high banners on it, or if I can play around with gas or not. So I went to the North Wall and used SWGOH on this team. I could use Bounty Hunters here as well, but I opted for the easier fight in that case. Then versus Hux, I play Padme. Back in the days, I think I used Padme, Snips, and JKA. But because JK is now taken from Qui-Gon Jinn, I used our friend Kenobi here. And the battle is straightforward. You just get out red, then you take out Hux, and then you tank, or whatever, whichever order you prefer after you took out red. But he's the main threat in this fight. Other than that, there is not really much they can do to harm you, so to say. But of course, because JKA is missing here in this fight, you're missing a bit of damage output. You're missing also a cleanse. No, a dispel, sorry, not a cleanse. And yeah, it just takes a little bit longer and doesn't feel as nice. At least that's how I feel about it. But still, it's not a battle where you're ever in danger of losing, essentially. Unless you ignore red for too long, then it can be dangerous to some extent. Then versus Mon Mothma, I had several options, but I opted for the simplest one, with his, in this case, JML with JKL and Basti. Not much to say about this straightforward counter. Just spam the special, lead special or call to assist, and then they're gone. And it wasn't, I think it was the last fight in the North Wall, which is the Separatist team, which is quite interesting. But he was Bounty Hunters here. Made here a mistake because I tried to stun Droideka, which of course then didn't happen when he was with Tenacity up. Usually it doesn't matter that he is in damage unity, but Tenacity up of course makes it a problem. But the nice thing about this, you don't really have a tank, and you have like one easy hit target. That's why you can use boss quite easily. Here I'm lucky that Grief survives, but then he's back, contract is triggered, I can take out Droideka, then I focus down B1, and also because of course Dooku is under stealth, and once B1 is out of the picture, it's a very easy battle. I mean, at this stage it is an easy battle either way, but if you can concentrate on one last opponent, it's always like, just like, okay, this is a victory, I can button mash, nothing will happen. Or maybe, will something happen? No. Yeah, so here, again, 57 banners, but yeah, weird counter. Could have played it better. Like all the matches I could have played much better, and also like the whole strategy in this whole match could have been better on my end. It was just weird. I was thrown off by this counter that went wrong. Anyway, we're in fleets. Have a negotiator here with this traditional lineup of sorry. Yeah, JKA, Snips, and the Y-Wing. And everyone always says, yeah, go for Ahsoka first, and I'm always ignoring her because she's a peasant, and I always go for JKA, and it never failed me. So I don't change that. I also don't use the new ship by Dash in the starting lineup. I still have to get used to it, even though it gives more turn meter. I still prefer to start with Biston. Then I call in Cassian, of course. I can quickly take out JKA. So not necessarily their win condition, but if he's out, it's still like a quick, like a big leap to the team. So they are in trouble, so to say. But then, of course, they can land Daze, and then they have a bit of breathing room. But because Daze isn't on every ship, I can make the mass assist, which is, yeah, one ship assisting, but then I take out Snips on the next shot, and then that's it. Then there was a Malevolence, and for that I keep Negotiator now on offense because I don't feel too comfortable yet with other counters, which of course weakens my defense, but I prefer clearing ships instead of like losing because I dropped the battle there, or I'm not able to clear fleets or ships, however you want to call it. That's why in the last 2 rounds I think I took a Negotiator. which is okay. It's a battle you don't do that often, to be honest, and I also didn't do it in the past that much, because in the times when Negotiator was lead arena meta, I didn't use Melee, I used Finalizer back then. And in my arena there never was like a lot of like chips from GG, so SEP chips, so it was always mainly just Negotiator, and now it's of course Executor, and you don't see these chips anymore. So you don't have a lot of opportunities to get a feeling for these fights. You always have to remember muscle memory, or like have to watch old videos, so how is it played? Especially if you haven't played it too much anyway, besides maybe territory wars. Yeah, sorry for rambling, because I really don't know what to say about this fight. It's pretty straightforward. You try to get out the ships, and that's it. Of course, bad banners here. Yeah, I lost banners, but still okay. Like a one shot is a one shot. And then there is this Thrawn team. I use Execute on it. Why I use Executor on offense? Because I hate that my opponent take out Executor in mirror matches for like 75, 76 banners. So I use it on offense and don't give them the opportunity to do that. And I have a ship or a fleet that can take out any other fleet. So it's a win-win in my book, even though you make your defense weaker again. But as I said, better win on offense than lose on offense in this case. Yeah, and I played poorly, as you can see. I don't get the ships out, only bit by bit, which is not so much of an issue when you play against the Tarkin fleet, Executives, but it is an issue when you play against Chimera, because it has its like snipe, however you want to call this move, which is not executed yet, but it will be. Spoiler, because I just don't manage to get the ships out, and that's also mainly because I play Executor, but only if I have to. I prefer training counters to it. Yeah, anyway. So I got out the TIE Interceptor at that stage, but of course there was the next reinforcement, which meant to me, okay, the tank isn't out. It got protection up a little bit, regained protection, so I have a problem here because I cannot get out the ships before they get to their ultimate, the Chimera ultimate. It's close, but now it comes, and boom, Bosk is gone. Sorry, Bosk. I played poorly, so you have to leave the battlefield, and it's just terrible banners. I think on the line of shame. But anyway, it was enough that I only need like 30 something banners to win the match on this fight, and I think I needed 18 banners or something. So, but I got 35, and so I had 218 banners, 2018 compared to those 2,000 banners. Sorry, of my opponents. So I took it home, but as you have seen, I played it poorly in many aspects of the match, many battles, and it could have gone either way. So again, shout out to EmoKid Skills. Was a fun match, and good luck to you for the next rounds. And I'm in the top 50 now, like in terms of my position, so hope I can continue climbing. But next round will be interesting. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching, and let me know if English is terrible, if I messed up all the words, if you understood me or not, or anything else what I can do better. Yeah, just let me know. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.